This is the ArpCast, somewhat live from the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains in eastern Tennessee. Today we talk about different things, weird people, and maybe unicorns and rainbows. We read poetry and short stories too. Most of all, we keep it real. This is the ArpCast, starting now. It is ArpCast number 15 on November 15, 2017. This is Arp, as you know. So today, it is tonight, for those of you keeping score. You know I do this at night, come on. I couldn't do this in the morning. One, I'm loud, and two, I wouldn't have near the energy. Well, I might. But anyway, tonight, kind of an interesting topic. One that just kind of revealed itself. One-hit wonders from the 80s. Well, how did you get there, Arp? Well, I owe this one to our oftentimes contributor and collaborator of wit and whimsy, Dr. Philip Webb. I'll draw your attention to our first podcast about sandwiches and the way they're cut. Remember, I wanted on the bias, he wanted it straight. There was a long sort of retort, very friendly retort from Philip. So Philip and I, on his drive home tonight, poor guy is working late. I don't envy him, but he's an incredible, intelligent, hardworking man. Is driving home, and I don't even remember, and Philip, perhaps you recall, I don't remember how we ended up on the topic, but we did. And so we're talking about one-hit wonders of the 80s. And so, you started, Dexy's Midnight Runners. I think I came back with Aha, and there's Melt With You, and there are just so many. Men Without Hats. So these are all those sort of synth pop wonders. And so I raised the question, well, what was the economics behind this, right? I mean, come on, I'm a geek. I studied economics, as I think I mentioned on Monday's program. And so record labels and how there seemed to be this interesting convulsion at the time, or maybe it's compulsion, or perhaps both, about one-hit wonders of a particular style. And that's not to say they didn't exist before. I'm sure they did. I'm not familiar with one-hit wonders of the 70s or the 60s. I'm sure they're out there, and I'm sure some of you will remind me of who they are. I can think of at least one person in particular that will remind me, but I digress. So the reality of it is that it seemed like the need to have these one-hit wonders was a supply-side economics deal. It was all Ronald Reagan and supply sides and supply side and jelly beans and trickle down this, and trickle down will kill you, as far as some are concerned. So. But what is their legacy, right? What did they leave us? And I think they left us with this sense of sort of focused artistry, even though maybe it wasn't intended to be that way. They didn't get into the creation of an album, I think, for the one song that made it, or maybe the couple of songs that made it. In the case of, like, say, The Flock of Seagulls, they had a couple of hits. So, it's sort of the hedgehogs of synthesizer pop and rock. They did that one thing one time really well, and then they just kind of went away until, I guess, the last 5 years or so. They've all been touring with their walkers and their oxygen tanks, but beyond that, if you recall the concept of the hedgehog from think it was Jim Collins, Good to Great. You know, you do that one thing really well. You do it often. You do it with passion. You know what you want to make out of it in terms of a return to yourself, and you do it. That's the hedgehog kind of theory or concept. And so that's what these guys did. And I love them for it because they're, you know, their lists. And so, you know, in researching the show today, I kind of went through some of that, and I came up with, I think, would be my favorite, and it's not very well known, but it's by a band called the Dream Academy, or perhaps it's just Dream Academy. Life in a Northern Town, and it's a wonderful tune, British Baroque pop band. As I'm reading through, I didn't realize that was a genre, Baroque and pop together. You know, it's like chocolate and peanut butter, but different. So this Baroque pop band from England breaks out onto the scene with Life in a Northern Town, produced by Dave Gilmour of Pink Floyd fame. Just a lovely tune. I didn't put it on here because, you know, copyright's funny and stuff like that. But if you get a chance, check it out. It's a lovely tune. There's an oboe. And to me, it sort of epitomizes the essence of 80s pop music, new wave, first wave, whatever you want to call it, as well as the one-hit wonder. I mean, they show up in a couple of other places, but these guys are gone, right? Their legacy is this song. And what a song it is, right? That I can go back 30 years hence, later, and just be full of tremendous emotion and get a great deal of pleasure from it. So here's the soapbox, right? Which I do. I can't help myself. I climb up on here and I act like a monkey, and there it is. Find that focused artistry and do it well, and love it while you're doing it. And don't do it if you don't love it. If you don't love whatever it is you're doing, however economically feasible it is or isn't, just don't do it. Find that one thing and capitalize on it in search of your own happiness. All right, I'm going to climb down off the box now. This was a fairly short one, which, you know, I'm trying to maintain some equilibrium here for everybody. But I did enjoy it, as I always do. I'm smiling big here. I love the fact that we're getting a few more hits. We're adding subscribers on YouTube, so check out our YouTube channel. Check us out on blog.thearpcast.com for the blog. I'm still working on the iTunes transition to get us out on iTunes and to get us out on some additional social media. I'm happy you're listening. I'm hoping that this makes you smile and gives you something to think about. And I look forward to seeing you on the Friday program, the 17th of November, in a couple of days here. Hey, this has been phenomenal. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in a couple of days. Well, kids, you know who this is. It's ARP, damn it. You have been listening to the ArpCast, a sensational, fact-filled experience meant to change the world. I'm happy you stopped by. Our sponsors, those greedy, wily bastards, thank you too. Make sure to write, "This has been the ArpCast." I'm out.